Alright guys, so before I have my cup of milk, because I'm cosplaying as a 3-year-old today, I'm not really, I just love milk. I wanted to talk about something which I just saw a comment. Hopefully he's come to my channel because he's curious to see who wrote the comment. But somebody wrote a comment on the Ancient Archives channel. Go check him out. He's a good guy. Really good guy. Someone wrote a comment on his channel talking about he read a book. The commenter read a book, and the book is called The Forbidden, I don't know what it is actually, Forbidden Architecture of the Game or something like that. It's stuff you've seen before. If you're into this stuff that we're talking about, then you're aware of what it is. You're aware of what this stuff basically means. You know, the mechanics of reality, manifestation, the law of attraction, you know, affirmations, karma, the Kyoblion, you know, Hermes Trismegistus and all this stuff. Basically, you know, your thoughts make reality and consciousness, and you've got to align yourself with the consciousness of that which you want. And it's true, like, it works. That's how it works, right? So if you ever have wondered why people seem to get what they want and why others don't, then, or why their lives are like this and why yours is like that, it's because they're playing a consciousness game most of the time, if they know what they're doing. I've actually seen this with psychopaths. Psychopaths, they do this without knowing that they're doing it. They bend reality because they have no doubt, right? Like, they actually have no doubt about the reality that they want. The reality that they want, they create it because they have no conscience. So there's nothing to doubt what they're doing, if that makes sense. So they speak it into reality. Like, the way they see reality, the way they want to see reality is how they make it so. Like, the confidence is real because it's what they think. And because they don't have a conscience, what they think is real to them. And they know that it's not real because they're thinking it consciously and they're kind of making it up. But it is real because they don't have a conscience. So what they're thinking is reality at that moment. So psychopaths, if you've ever spoken to any, I've spoken to a few psychopaths in my time, most of them harmless. That doesn't mean they don't think harmful thoughts, but most of them harmless in the sense of they're not violent people, and they're not, I mean, they're incredibly dangerous, and I wouldn't want to get on their bad side. That's for sure. That's for sure. But most of the time, they're relatively, the ones that I've come across, relatively civil, down-to-earth people, want to actually do a bit of good in the world, to be honest. The ones that I've met, they hold perspectives, and they can challenge, like, they probably have a set of beliefs about reality, but they love to challenge perspectives, and they love to always say, you know, well, why do you think this way? How have you come to this conclusion? What's the basis of your perception? When I can just tear it down with just a few words, because they're skillful rhetoricians, once again, because they don't have an attachment like neurotypicals do. And neurotypical has attachments to all kinds of belief systems and dogmas and things because they've got emotions. And a psychopath doesn't have emotions. So if a psychopath doesn't have emotions, then they don't have attachments. They don't really have favorites. They can't, really. I mean, they might have sensations that they can kind of relive over and over again, you know, maybe certain foods or certain songs or sex or certain people. They might have a liking to things, but I don't think they can get attached like neurotypicals do because the emotional entanglement isn't there like a neurotypical has. So where am I going with this? What I'm trying to say is the reality that we live in is something that is very malleable, very malleable. And books like these called, you know, The Secret, and even Paulo Coelho, his book The Alchemist, really cool book. I've read it a few years ago. I'd like to give it another read, to be honest. Even that book, though, it's the same kind of concept where it's like reality. I like his one because his was more based in actual reality. But things like The Secret and the Law of Attraction ones, and even Napoleon Hill's one, the Think and Grow Rich one, it's they're trying to play God, all right? They're trying to play God. And this book that this guy mentioned, this geezer, he mentioned, I don't know, the Forbidden Game Architect or whatever, the Forbidden Architecture of the Game. It's another one of those same books which is about consciousness and about manipulating reality, like the Kyoblion, which I was reading, but then I stopped reading it. I stopped reading it because, remember, all of these systems, they admit God. Like, they have to admit God. Even the Kabbalon admits God. But the problem is then it says that if you have a bit of that power and you need to use it, you need to create your own reality. And that's not true. That's not true. That's fundamentally not true. That's a lie by Satan. Who's Satan? Satan is the opposing force to reality, to God, who wants human beings to fall. Right? That reason I'm being a bit still there is because I'm doing the be still and know technique, meditative technique, trying to just get into that still space as opposed to just always yapping. So apologies if it was a bit uncomfortable. I'm doing it again now. But the point I'm trying to make here is this adversarial force, Satan, the Lucifer, if you will, the serpent in the garden. Its goal is to try and get human beings to fall away from God, connection with reality, by the way, a state of oneness, a state of presence, a state of service. To pull away from that, which is a state of paradise, you could say. It is a state of paradise. When you're in that place, when you're in the present moment, and you're one with reality, you are in a blissful state. You're in a very, very good high. Right? Like, everything is just amazing then. Everything's beautiful. Like, you're in the present moment, everything becomes life. Right? But then when you get in your mind, life just seems to die away. And then the only thing that matters is your egoic creation. And the only thing that gives you life now is making your egoic creation reality. So you're trying to be God. And you've actually bitten into the apple and you've fallen into hell. And then you're trying to climb your way out. That's what everyone's doing in life. Everyone in reality is trying to do, you know. And I thank the Lord. I thank God Almighty for giving me this ability to speak, because I did not get this by anyone else but Him. You know, I asked Him, I pray for Him to help me with everything I do nowadays, and thank God He gives it, right? But the thing is, I don't serve my own will. I don't serve my own will. I serve His will, and that's why it kind of works. If I was to serve my will, there would be so much doubt, there would be so much hesitation, and there would be so much mistake in my own mind. But because it's His will, it's unfettered, it's pure, it probably has conviction. Even though I'm dithering half the time, it's still got conviction, and it's because it's truth, or at least it's the truth in the moment. So I want to give a warning to guys out there who are on the religious path, because you might well say, well, religion, it's just for children, it's toys for children, it's there to manipulate you and keep you stupid and silly. No, it's there to keep you safe. It's there to keep you safe. Religion, the religions, the prophets that came down and spoke this stuff, they spoke this stuff for your benefit, so you don't get manipulated by Satan and fall. Because what the devil will come to you and say, well, hang on a minute, religion's a lie. God, and he might even say God doesn't exist, but it's the source, the illuminated source, the universe, the creative principle, as bloody the Kabbalon says, the creative principle. It's a pure creative principle. It's just Satan, bro. It's just literally Satan speaking. And I can recognize it, thank God. I can recognize the voice of Satan now. Because it's always a counterfeit version of God anyway. Like, if it's not God, then it's just going to be a counterfeit God on earth. And if it's not a counterfeit God, then that's just stupid, because human beings, number one, didn't create themselves, and number two, no one can be a human God. It's impossible. It doesn't make sense. You're a human being, you're flesh and blood, mate. At the end of the day, like, you can do a lot. Human beings are amazing, they can do a lot, but you're still not God, bro. You're still not God. Like, get off your high horse. Get off your high horse. Right, all it takes is you walking and a rock falls from the sky and hits your bloody head and you're dead. If you're not dead, you've got Alzheimer's, now you're mentally dead. Or a bus, forget about a bus. You're walking and you trip on a little, you know those little cracks in the pavement? You trip on that, your head smacks straight into the ground, you're dead. That's how stupid you are as a human being. That's how fragile you are. Okay, we're nothing, guys. We are nothing. As physical beings, we are absolutely nothing. God created us on earth because he loves us and he wanted us to be in his image, right? Because we can do similar things to God in this world and have dominion, right? But the point is, and what we've done is we've gone wrong and we've started to say, well, you know what, there is no God, we're going to be God. And that's what these books, the Kieblion and this forbidden architecture of the game and all this stuff, it's... and I used to do another satanic thing when I was younger, PUA. I'll be completely transparent about that. I was a lustful man. All I could think about was sex, and I wanted to get as much of it as I possibly could. So I went down the PUA route, which was a horrible time in my life, because it was just miserable. The whole experience was just miserable from front to back. Like, it was never... I only started actually enjoying PUA when I actually started taking God seriously. And I was still in the PUA movement, but I wasn't even taking God seriously. God kind of spoke to me through PUA and said, hey man, like, if you want to get women, you got to love them. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Like, if you want to get women, you got to love women. What? I don't see the connection. Doesn't make sense. What? I got to love women? Well, doesn't make sense. Yeah, you got to kind of like just appreciate women for who they are as opposed to just wanting things from them. Who'd have thought of that? You got to actually like the person. Gee, man. God. Get out of here with that romantic nonsense. Who do you think you are? Shakespeare? But that's the thing. As soon as I started doing that, my dating life improved. Who'd have thought you actually like the person that you're speaking to? Oh, God, who'd have thought your dating life would increase, mate? But it did. And then the moment I had a few dates and had a few romantic relationships, short term, nothing long term, I started realising, oh, this isn't a good path. Like, I'm dealing with human beings. I'm not dealing with objects, mate. I'm not dealing with, I'm not dealing with objects, mate. I'm not dealing with, you know, online pornographic images. I'm dealing with real people here. Like, this is bad, what I'm doing. Like, this is bad. I have no intentions of dating this person in the long term. I just want to get my fix. That's bad. And I did that a few times and I realised it's bad and I stopped. And I said, okay, if I'm going to date, I need to date for marriage. Because that's the way the Holy Sacrament requires me to do it. If I'm going to steward this woman, if I'm going to take her, I'm going to steward her, I'm going to look after her, I'm going to make sure that right is done by her, I'm going to make sure that no wrong ever comes her way, and I'll make sure to die for that principle, and I'll make sure of that. Because that's my job. That's my job as a man. Like, I'm not here to just have fun. Who'd have thought that? Like, that's the most stupid argument in the world. I'm just here to have my fun, guys. Like, don't get me wrong, we, as children of Adam, as children of God even, we're here to enjoy ourselves, for sure. Of course we're here to enjoy ourselves. But there's a difference between enjoying and indulging, I think, right? Indulgence is kind of like without morality and enjoyment. You can enjoy food without getting attached to it. You can enjoy sex without getting attached to it. But sex is not the same as eating food. Sex is a human being. You're getting very close to that person. You're getting very close to that person's soul. That's the most intimate a person will ever get, physically. And it has always jarred my mind how people can see one night stands as being normal and right. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, because that's the most intimate thing that you're ever going to do. We wear clothes, we cover ourselves up. We kind of like keep this part of ourselves private for a reason. And then we just share it with a stranger every so often. Like a hobby. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It's such a... You know, it doesn't make sense. We get drunk first off, so we've got to lower our inhibitions and make ourselves stupid. And actually put ourselves in an insane state. Because when we're drunk, we are insane. We are not thinking rationally anymore. We are mad. So we drink things that make us go mad. We go out to clubs that blast us with music so we can't think. Blast us with lights in the dark. Now our perception is so skewed, we don't even know what's good or bad. And then we just want pleasure, so, you know, we find a woman, we get speaking to them, somehow we end up in a taxi, somehow we end up going back to each other's places, and boom. That just doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't even seem fun. It doesn't, and I think most women know this. I think if you ask your average woman, what does she think about the clubbing experience? They'll probably say they don't really like it. And one night stands especially, they'll think that most people will agree that one night stands are a negative experience. They're not a positive experience. Like, you leave with an emptiness. You leave feeling like something was stolen from you and that you were used. I've had that experience. You got to go for it, I think, sometimes. You got to go for it. You got to experience it. You got to know, hey, all right, do you know what am I getting into? I didn't need to do it so often. I only did it a few times. I can count the number of times I did it. I didn't do it 100 times. I know guys who've done it hundreds of times. It took them 100 times before they realised the bad they'd done. I only did it a few times and I realised, oh, okay, this is a stupid path, man. But anyway, why am I talking about this? Apart from vanity's sake. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I want you guys to know that you don't serve yourself, you don't serve your own law, you don't serve your own kingdom. The kingdom of darkness wants you to believe that. The kingdom of darkness wants you to think that it's just you in the world and I'm all alone, poor old me. Why has this happened to me? You know, fallen state, basically, because you're out of grace now. You're not in grace, you're in the kingdom of darkness. And then in the kingdom of darkness, you've got to climb yourself out of hell. And in order to climb yourself out of hell, you've got to do sin. That's what Satan wants you to do, right? He wants you to commit sins. And the biggest sin you can have is pride, thinking that you're better than God, thinking that you're better than people, thinking that you're better than anyone. Pride, biggest sin. And that's how he does it. So these books, man, stay away from them. If you're on the religious path, or if you're on a light path, you know, just listen to the commandments of God. You know who you belong to. You belong to God. You were created by God. You belong to your Father in heaven. You don't belong to yourself. And if you tell me I don't believe, what do you believe in? What do you believe in? Because I guarantee you that whatever you believe in, it's going to circumvent right back to what I'm saying. Your Father in heaven is the one that owns you, owns your soul, created you. That's who you owe your allegiance to. And the way you can know his will is by stopping the perceptions, stopping the emotions, or at least getting behind the emotions, getting behind the perceptions, getting behind the attachments, getting into that place of being present and still and know. Be still and know. Roy Master says that. Be still and know, but it works. Eckhart Tolle says that as well. Buddha says that as well. Jesus says that as well. All of them say the same thing. So, it's truth. Be still and know. Meditate. And hear the still small voice and do what it tells you most of the time, as best as you can. Do what it tells you to do, right? And see how your life changes. See how your life gets together. See how by listening to the still small voice, the voice of common sense, the voice in the background, the quiet voice, the one that whispers, pulls you as opposed to pushes you. Like Satan, he accuses you. Like those critical, angry, aggressive, you know, accusing thoughts, they're not you, that's Satan, bruv. That's a force, that's a negative, evil entity, that's a spirit that is trying to get you to fall. Right? Probably it's not actual Satan, but it's probably a demon of sorts, it's a sprite, and it's trying to get you to stay in a negative state. Yeah? Now, demons are real, angels are real as well, so if you pray and you pray to God, the real God, right? Not the fake God, not the false God, the God of your desires, the God of your idols, the God of your whatever. I mean, the one true God, the non-God even, right? You could even say the non-God. Pray to that. You get to that still small space and you watch how your life gets put all together. You watch. It all comes together, man. And stay away from these books that try and make you your own God, like The Secret, The Law of Attraction, and they are all counterfeits, trying to make you believe you're God. God has written these books, other scriptures, they've come through, the word of God has come through, and it's given you a blueprint on what to do in order to get your life in this world and the hereafter together. All you have to do is just do that and listen to those ideals, listen to what's not ideals, listen to those commandments, and serve, because you're here to serve, right? Even on a microcosm, on human life, we don't feel fulfillment unless we serve others. Yeah, we don't. I don't mean be a people pleaser. No, I mean serve others. I mean actually serve for their benefit, for their good, right? Not for our good, not for our benefit, but for their good. To do what's right by others. That's what I mean. And by ourselves as well. We've got to do what's right. Not necessarily what's pleasant or convenient or hedonistic. You know, I'm still learning this. I'm no master at this at all, mate. I'm still learning this as well. But there's a big difference between what's right and what's convenient, or what's right and what I want. Right? Big difference between the two. What I want versus what's right. Big difference between that, man. So, anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. Okay, and if you've got any questions, write them in the comment section below. And if you want anything else like this, then ask away, and I'll see if I can make a video about it. But yeah, let me scratch my back. I'll get back to you soon, okay? But I just wanted to get this out. If you're on the religious path, stay away from these stupid books that draw you into your own mind. He who leans on his own understanding will be damned, as Proverbs says. Where does it say in Proverbs? I think it's 22:26. I don't know. He who leans on his own mind will be a fool, or something like that. Like, yeah, it's ego. If you start thinking you're God, you're gonna go to hell. Right, and I don't need to explain to you what I mean by hell. I just mean you're going to go to hell. If you start doing stupid things, you're going to go to hell. You know, you will. And you will. You will. You know what hell is. You will go. We've all been to that place, and we'll go to that place if we go and do stupid things. And if you play the stupid game of thinking you're God, I mean, I don't need to say anything more. It's very stupid. It's going to backfire. All right? Sayonara.